Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. In this video, I want to continue documenting things. It's going to be a challenge to remember to do this when I'm just trying to put my head down and work towards this crazy goal. But I think it's really going to help me. Like that first one, it really did help me just feel less overwhelmed, just a smidge. And that little smidge of not feeling as overwhelmed as I did because I'm writing things down, I'm talking about it, I'm moving through the pain or the struggle, I think is really going to help. So I feel like if I talk about it as if I was teaching myself to do this task, will help. Yesterday, we had a very telling session between my husband and I on what we're going to do, man. Like, I'm gonna be very candid now, okay? Because that's the only way to kind of go through this, and you guys get to see that. So, whatever. I'm being very selfish about this. This is to help me, okay? And if you guys learn something, that is a win-win, and that's cool. We've been struggling a lot with this idea of going into coffee. What does that mean? We have an existing business that's very successful. We're very comfortable. However, this business model that we have in photography is not sustainable, okay? It's really, and it is wearing on us. It's wearing on us emotionally. It's really done well for us, but it's, I don't think we can grow old into it. It's not think, as I know that. The conversations between my husband and I in order to jump into another business, okay, is very, very frustrating. It's really a struggle. And at the same time, the only way to kind of get through those moments is to think about that big picture goal, which is, look, you could have a product that you could scale. It has the ability to scale, whereas service businesses do not, which is what we're in right now. And it should be a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer that we should go to this different type of business model. However, the fear and the doubt and the risk associated with that, even though we're still young, is still nonetheless very scary, okay? Because it means uprooting the possibility of maybe losing this existence, this lifestyle, will change. It's not going to be this lifestyle anymore. I love my lifestyle. I feel like I live a dream life. We worked pretty hard for a solid, 8 to 9 years to be able to afford this place on our own dollar, to not be in debt, not crazy debt. Like we have a car payment, wow. We have a mortgage, wow. And we did it together, all on our own. And now we're thinking about changing that, right? So it gets scary. Since we're not going to have children, the prospect of uprooting this existence, this comfortability, this I know how to do my job 110% with my eyes closed, hands tied behind my back sort of vibe, and jumping into a place where I don't know crap, I don't know shit, okay? So that feeling, is, and that fear is very real. So yesterday we got to talk about that together and be as real as we could be and be as supportive as we could be together. But I must say, it's a struggle for both of us. So what helps is I started to research this. It wasn't yesterday, it was like a couple days ago. Started to research how to break this down, right? You guys got to see, like, what did I talk about? Trying to get on a call to help me with the permitting process. Where we can actually be, what's feasible, like what makes sense. I want to just save my time there. It was so annoying trying to go through, well, this city doesn't like this, or this is not zoned for this, and because we live in the IE, there's like so many cities that are so tightly bound together, and all of their regulations are different. So you guys got to see that, right? So cool. That's on the book, so I feel like I can relax a little bit about that. Next is okay, how are we going to even do that? Like, how are we going to even leave what we're doing? If we agree that it's a no-brainer to leave, how do we do that? So we had to come up with a plan, and we've been trying to do this, come up with a model or a plan in terms of how we're going to leave our existing business. Do we leave? Do we sell it? Do we try to get somebody else to run it? Like what are we going to do? And that just took a lot of energy out of us, but it was so necessary. And I think when we finally were able to write it down on the whiteboard and then transfer these ideas and put them like on paper, right? That process of like, bleh, get all your fears out, put it out on the whiteboard that you can quickly move shit around. I really believe in whiteboards. It's faster in terms of like, just get the idea out. You know, don't open Google Docs yet. I feel like that's too official. I feel like the notepad like this is just too small in a way, and also it feels too official. But the whiteboard, I know, is not as scary. Does that make sense? Like, I'll erase it. It's fine. Nobody will see it. It doesn't live forever. You know what I mean? So I believe in the whiteboard process of just vomiting shit out that you feel like is scary to you, and to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Like, just let's go. Number one, like, what do we need to do for, and I have to ask, you know, my husband and my partner, because obviously we're coming at this change into a new business from two different perspectives, okay? I'm coming at it from like a roaster, as an artist, as a wife. He's coming at it from the sole provider, the husband, the caregiver, the financial person, right? So we have two different perspectives, and we had to break down, okay, number one, like, what do you need? And I'll tell you what I need. But what do you need in order to leave, in order to go to this other business? Because it just feels like for the last 3 years, it's just been, okay, like, do we want to do this or not? You know, do you want to go or not? And I've been learning throughout this whole process. I told you guys that I'm not a very good leader. I'm a follower. I'm a follower by nature. And I was like, oh, this is my test. And every time I have to lead my partner, or I have to lead a decision, or lead some kind of action that I'm not used to doing. I'm used to following, I'm used to having somebody just tell me what to do, and switching up things and leading things through hard times, like, or uncertain times. Not really hard. It's not hard. It's just uncertain, and it makes it feel hard. What are the things? And he's like, okay, first we need safety net. Like, duh, we need money, right? Next, we need to find out what we're going to do with the company. So I'm not going to disclose any of that here, just because like nothing is concrete, but this is the process, okay? This is what we're going to do with the company. Next, we need to kind of just throw out some kind of numbers so that we get to see like how much we need to make at this time, or save, or like take from our existing company so that we can fund our next thing, right? So we just need to see how that is, and then see how long that process is going to be. So we were able to come up with a model, and this is important. When I was looking up and researching things, they're like, okay, don't worry about business plan yet. Don't worry about plans yet. Plans have numbers and money and real concrete figures in them. Don't do that yet. And this was a chore, to be able to tell my husband, who is a numbers and financial and planner, and somebody who lives in the future, that we need to start with the model. The model first, like, what's just the big picture, bird's eye view model of what we're gonna do? You know, what's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, what's the big list, or a simplified list? Not really a big list. What's the simplified list of what needs to happen? What's the model? Let me tell you, that took like 2 hours just to like get down. Okay, but this is what it is. It's like when you're starting something brand new, you got to iron out these basic things. And I'm so glad that we did that. I'm so glad that, you know, I'm not telling you like this is what you should do. I'm talking to myself, okay? These are the basic communication things that need to happen before we even talk about concrete numbers. And so my husband's freaking out about numbers that aren't even real. I'm like, wait, we're not there yet. We're not at the plan yet. We have to go back to the model. Let's do the model. Like, what is just the basic ass things that need to happen? We can figure out the numbers later. And I know that's frustrating because, if you don't have numbers, it's like, well, doesn't that kind of like defeat the purpose and what kind of model we're going to choose? It's like, well, no, because if you start with just the general idea, you got to zoom all the way out, and you can't live in the future where nothing is real yet, right? And these are words that I'm trying to say to him and say to myself to calm myself down, because it's really hard if one partner is panicking and shutting down. You're not going to get anything done if you're also panicking and shutting down. But that takes strength, and that's the lesson that I had to learn throughout these many years of how to lead. And I've been learning this lesson, okay, in our existing business, and now again here in trying to move to coffee. And I was like, oh my God, I'm your partner. I'm gonna support you in all of your weird, crazy, like the world is gonna fall, the sky's falling, and that kind of like fear mongering mindset. And that fear mongering mindset got us here. So I'm not, I'm not discrediting it. But now, it's time to use different skills. It's time to use different coping skills to deal with this feeling of uncertainty and stress. I feel it too. All right. I'm not going to freak out, because if we both freak out and panic, that gets us nowhere. All right. So in a lot of ways, I had to be the voice of reason, which is so weird, because tomorrow he'll be chipper and like, yeah, we could do this, that rent is cheap, It's like, oh Lord. And that's our relationship. And I was just so like elated that I was like, oh my God, I'm learning the lesson. I'm doing it. I'm staying calm while my partner's freaking out, because I'm sure he's going to do that for me at some point, right? And we do that back and forth. I was like, yay, I'm not also freaking out, and I'm also not holding it against him that he is freaking out. I understand it. I'm compassionate to it. And I need to now say that like, hey, I get it. I know this is very scary. I know this is potentially talking about letting go of your baby so that I can have a baby. And then I have to lead us, and you have to trust me to lead. And I know that's new. That's new. That's new. That's scary. So that's the plan. So let me whiteboard some shit for you, okay? So number one, this is very hard. Okay. I wouldn't normally do it like this, but I want to share with you guys. Number one, what is the model? What's the model? What's the big picture? Zoom way out. Zoom way out. And maybe have a different models. We have models. I have models A, B, and C. One is we sell the company. One is we pass it down. One is we we just zero it out, we just close it, right? So those are the options. Like when we didn't really know what our options were, it made us push to living in the future and trying to figure out numbers and the business plan and shit like that. And like, don't do that. You're going to panic. You're going to panic. You'll be like, fuck, it's so expensive. How are we going to do that? Like start where you're supposed to start, which is at step one, which is like, what's the model? What's the big picture? And really, like for me, I was like, bro, really figure it out. Do you want a cafe right now? And when I came down to it, I was like, no, I don't. I want a roastery. I want to learn that. I want to facilitate education, and not in just for roasters on the business side, but on the consumer side. I want to educate people. I want people to know. I've always wanted to do that. The cafe thing came because Mike said at Clash, hey, if you have a cafe, people can try your coffee. Duh. And I was like, well, it kind of sounds like you're telling me that the only way to run a coffee business is to have a cafe. And he's like, well, no, I'm not saying that. It's totally possible to just have a roastery. but it is nice. And he's like, so I was like, so you're telling me to get a cafe? But that's what he said. You know, I'm not putting words in his mouth. But that's how I interpreted it. And now, I'm still very excited about having cafe. Okay, I think it's definitely something in our future if we decide to stay in coffee and it all works out. I want to do that. I'm not saying no to it. I'm not writing it off, even though that's not initially what I wanted to do. But in the future, later, right? Later. Right now, this is what I feel like I need to focus on. Okay, so getting the model, and within this model of like what is the big picture, in here, right? There is upgrade roaster skills. I need to know roasting kind of in and out on a level enough to sell, which is not actually that crazy high. But I mean, I'm selling coffee now already, but I feel like this is going to give me confidence. And I need confidence in coffee. So I need to be able to understand coffee in a way that I feel will give me confidence. Okay, this is a very qualitative sort of thing, but that's on my list of things to do right now. That's what I can do right now. Another big picture thing is I need to be able to exit my existing job, exit KLV. Now, that is a lot of freaking work. I just wrote down all the shit that I do in my existing business, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot. Of course. But I have to be able to transfer this in a way to somebody else. So there's that. So that's all a part of this. And I have to do this first before I can think about really putting down numbers in a business plan. And this has numbers, real figures. Because potentially here in the business plan, I'm going to ask for funding. I'm going to ask for a loan. I'm going to ask for somebody to take a chance on me or whatever, right? This is number 2. And this 2, from number 1 to number 2, is maybe 6 to a year apart for me. 6 months to a year, maybe. That's not long. And when I put numbers like that, or when I put like little figures like that, I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. I mean, 6 months to get my shit together and have all this kind of like figured out, I think is a really good timeline. Not too fast, not too slow for me, okay? And then beyond that, we're not even there yet, okay? All the while, during this model and structure and the zooming out and making that look a lot prettier than that, is what I'll be doing and hopefully documenting and sharing with you. Like I said here, we're still looking for facilities. I'm here at loopnet.com. Looking for facilities from, I want to say like 1,500 at the smallest to maybe 2,500 at the largest. And I think that, because Kevin went crazy and did his numbers anyway, is like, oh, I think we need to kind of bring rent down to about $3,000 at the most. At the most, we think we're staying in City of Ontario. I feel like that's the vibe. That's where the opportunity can be for me. It's not that I chose it out of a lineup. It's more like that's where I think what's available for us. And they typically seem to have all of the natural gas hookup, the ability to vent through the roof, things like that. Sorry, I just need to get that out. It's frustrating. I'm struggling to deal with this mentally, and it's not a bad thing. I think it's good, and the fact that I can talk about it helps me. But it's not easy. But yeah, definitely talking about it helps a lot. So that's where I'm at right now, you know, and I've been feeling like I'm at this sort of like little crux of just finding a place for the last 4 months or so. And I came really close one time, and then, you know, they just really didn't go for it with the smell thing and the smell of roasting coffee. So yeah, we're just going to keep looking till things line up, and then we'll find a place. Because we definitely need to get out. I am overtaking a lot of this space, and our home is not becoming a home. I mean, It always was a home, but it has two businesses running out of here, which is not ideal for when you want to turn off business self and be normal home self, you know? All right, anyway, so I hope a little vent. It wasn't a rant, it was just a vent of like what is going on the side of like, bro, we gotta go. We have to leap. We have to move now. Not have to, but I was just like, there's this urgency now of like, let's go. What are we doing? I feel like almost dying. I don't care if you think I'm being dramatic. It's just my perspective on things is different now. I just feel like I should do what I want to do. And I really need to dig deep and stop sort of hiding behind others' leadership and step into my own leadership. Find my style, find my way. And that is scary. It's uncomfortable. I feel very uncomfortable doing this. But I have this dream, and it's a secret dream. And if you haven't been in the practice of, envisioning and entertaining the possibility of making your dream come true, it just feels very uncomfortable. I think as a wife and as a woman and how I was raised, all the things that make me, it just makes me feel very uncomfortable, And at the same time, I have this very good, solid Jiminy Cricket right here just saying like, you can do it. You can do it. You've been doing it, You've been doing it. And I'll be like, I think you're right. I think you're right. But rest assured, the doubt is incredibly heavy. But yeah, so that's what I'm going through. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.